Welcome to Corpus Forum. Did you know that opening up about depression is a sign of strength and not of weakness? Join me as we dive into the topic, depression, and how to get mental wellness. We are going to hear personal stories of triumph and struggle and hopefully learn from them. Together, we can break the silence and stigma surrounding mental illness and depression. I'm going to be doing this discussion with some amazing guests in the studio. Let's get to meet you.
Miracle Samson, Ainda.
And
Uche Chinazebere Lucy.
you're all welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So around on June 24, we are met with the sad news of the former CEO of Konga. We heard that Nick Imudia, we heard that he committed suicide. He jumped over the balcony of his house in Lekki. This man we're talking about is a multi-millionaire and he committed suicide. What do you have to say about it?
Well, that's really a sad one there, and our heart goes out to the family members. Well, suicidal thoughts, it's non-respecter of person.
Okay.
Yes, as long as you're a human being, there are chances that you might be going through challenges in life that you might want to start thinking that the only option you have is to take your life. Okay, so it's not a respecter of a person. So in his case was really a severe case. You understand? So immediately I saw that update, I was like, this man, when you're talking about one of the persons in Nigeria who has money, you of course mentioned Nick. But at the end of the day, he decided to take his life based on what, of course, the media told us. He took his life by jumping off the balcony. It's a sad event, and it can happen to anybody, whether rich or poor. Yes, the case of suicidal thoughts, it's not an easy one, and sometimes it happens when one maybe sees that or feels that he or she is not meeting expectation of some group of people. It could be family, business, and
or even
all
society.
of society. You understand? And sometimes it's difficult for them to speak to, because based on the kind of person he is, how would I come out to say something like this? How would I come out to tell people that I'm going through one or two? So might be difficult for him to say, and it's like I said, it's a sad event, and I hope that nobody sees anything in committing a suicide, because it is definitely not the best option. No matter what you're going through, committing suicide cannot
It's
be
not
the
the
best
solution.
option to
So you're saying that suicidal thoughts are prompted by depression.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what's your thoughts on this story?
Okay, on Nick's case, Miracle just said that suicidal thoughts are not respecter of persons. It's not a respecter of class. It's not a respecter of status.
Yeah.
Nick was not hungry, as we all know.
Yeah.
He's wealthy. Anything he wanted, I believe he got.
Yes.
So why suicide? Why suicide? I take it as a societal stigma. There are some things he might be going through that he cannot come out to seek for help because of his status.
Yeah.
He'll say, oh, people say, what would the society say about this? So he thought suicide was the only way out, which in the actual sense, in real sense, it is not. But because of depression, when you bring somebody's spirit down, life events happens, occurrences happen that will just bring you down. You don't see any hope for tomorrow. Your heart is hollow. You don't just want to do anything but to end it. So that's what's happened. It is depression. We can.
Some persons think that that depression only happens to poor people. At least we can know that depression also happens to people that are multi-millionaires.
Respecter of status.
So what else do you think are depression myths surrounding depressions?
Okay, I think some people do believe that depression is a weakness. It's not actually a weakness. depression is not, like I said, anybody can be a victim of depression. It is not actually a weakness. Where it start looking like it's a weakness is where you start allowing it to subdue you. You understand, to the point where you start thinking about suicide and all of that. But at the end, it's not a weakness. As a matter of fact, you're advised that whenever you're depressed, look for a way, see how you can reach out to people. But then people think it's a weakness. Secondly, people think that depression is a spiritual something. Okay, that when you're depressed, you must be in attack. You need deliverance whenever you're depressed. So people shy away. Sometimes you see religious people, they shy away from reaching out to people whenever they are depressed. So it is not a spiritual thing. Okay, it is a medical condition, and anything that is a medical condition should be handled that way. You understand? Except of course there are exceptions which I don't really can't talk about, or I don't even know about. So it is not a spiritual problem, and it is not a character defection too. People think that people who go through depression have bad, it's kind of a character. No, it's absolutely not. It can just happen to anyone. So whenever you see somebody going through depression, don't think less of them, because of course they are not less. Don't think less of them, they are not less at all. So I think these are some of the myths the conception people have about depression.
And some persons also believe that people with depression, they are violent people and they are dangerous people. That is not true. It's not a fact. It's not true. And then depression, you rightly said, is a medical condition, so it is treatable. It has treatment. It has procedures that a victim of depression can actually be resuscitated. You understand? So these are some of the things. So depressed persons do not practice violence, and they are not dangerous people. They are normal people like us, just a manner of approaching them with love and compassion. Then they'll bring up and speak up.
I also think that people say that people that are depressed, they need Christ. That if you have Christ, if you know who you are in Christ, you will not be depressed. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, that is true, because experiences I've had, the God factor actually helped me to pull through.
But you are depressed when you had the God factor.
Yes. So will I say that's also a myth?
I think that on that note, that's why some people easily take their life too, when you have to, because this is when we're talking about what the society thinks. It can really affect somebody's mind. So just imagine that you're a very good Christian or a Muslim,
or even a pastor,
or you can be anything, you can believe in one God or the other,
yes.
and you are a human being, and as a human being you're bound to go through challenges. Sometimes those challenges overwhelm you that you don't have control over them. And once that happens, you start sometimes isolating yourself. And once it affects your mind, depression starts setting in. Does it mean that you're lacking faith? No, it doesn't mean that you're lacking faith. So wherever you are, you might be a pastor, there are likelihood that you go through depression. You understand? So when people think that as a man of God, as a pastor, as a believer, as an imam, or whoever you be, or whoever you are rather, and whatever God you believe in, you can't go through depression. It keeps you in, you isolate yourself, you choose to handle it your own way. You understand? Instead of seeking for help, because you're thinking, what would this person think? What this person? Imagine me coming out to preach at every time, say this and motivate people, and then no. So we should, as a matter of fact, the society should be sensitized that this is one of the reality not every human would face. Actually, this is some of the realities some people would face, and when they face such reality, don't be judgmental. Don't judge them to say you somebody like you understand. You're rather hitting the situation rather than
salvaging it.
You're rather hitting it. So wherever you are, you can go through it. But then, like she said, there is there is a tendency that let's not go into that, just not to waste time.
Okay, so I want to ask this question. If we just talk about depression without saying our experience, people out there will think, oh, what do they even know? I want to ask, have you ever been depressed, and how did you go about it? How did you feel?
It's it's actually it's a terrible experience. It's a very terrible experience, because sometimes people think that when one is depressed, as a matter of fact, in our generation today, once you mention depression, they say you don't chop heartbreak last month every breakfast and all of that. But it's not the situation. People can, when people lose someone, they can go into depression, especially when that person is one of their backbone. You understand? If you lose somebody who is really there to you, and you're not that emotionally sufficient to handle such situation, you might, like that was my case. You know, I was still tender when I lost my dad. The whole situation that played out was just too heavy for the mind to bear. You understand? So I went through that state hoping to recover. I went through that state with bitterness, because you understand, in a situation where you have tried all you could. As a matter of fact, if it was within your power, you would have resuscitated your dad at that point. So he was like everything, and when he died, it was really, it was tough. It was tough. As a matter of fact, I felt sick at that point, because I felt sick, very ill, that everybody around me thought I was going to lose my life. Not as per suicidal thoughts, because definitely I won't lie, that I didn't get to that point where I started thinking of taking my life. No, I was just bitter. Nothing interested me. Nothing moved me, and all of that. So that was the case. But at the end of the day, I was able to go, overcome it.
All right.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get to.
We'll get to that point where I would have to share how I came. How I
Okay.
go through that.
Me, I've had my own share of depression, and one thing I want to say before I talk about my experience is that depression doesn't just come. It comes from experiences, events, when they have been accumulated. Like you said, you lose someone, as you were saying, this, that. In my own case, yes, I lost my dad at a very young age, between the ages of 4 and 5. He passed. So they now came to me with an offer of a new identity, prior to my identity. I was tender, I was a minor. I refused. But to these people, they felt, what does she know? What else can she tell? So they insisted until I got to a certain point in my life, between the years 2016 to 17, it was really, really suicidal for me. I lost interest in things. I didn't find myself going out again. Like, there's, yes, like, you do everything, but in the end it's as if you've done nothing. Like, you're not coming up. They want you to take this identity. You are trying to know if you can fit in the identity. It's not working. You want to do you. I want to do me. You understand? I want to do me at all costs. At all costs. But in the end, thank God I didn't take my life, because it was that serious. It was not, it's not everything that we should say.
Yeah.
But the way it came on my identity. Like, I was pressured to accept a new identity other than what is my identity. And I refused, and it didn't go well with most people. But thank God I overcame.
You know, some persons, when they go through depression, they tend to have some coping mechanism that are quite negative in nature. Some persons take on drinking.
Yeah.
Like when they lose their loved one, they start drinking. Some persons start humanizing. I know of a man that started humanizing because the fiancé stood him up on their traditional day. Started humanizing. Had a list of women he slept with. I think he has a 20 list where he writes women that he has slept with. That is their own coping mechanism. So as people that have undergone depression and have overcome depression, is there any positive coping mechanism that you can suggest to someone that is currently undergoing depression?
Yes. Yes. Like for me, I engaged in, when I knew that it was, getting serious or becoming serious, what I did was, I had to start, sorting out for people's experience.
Okay.
You understand? So I started sorting out for people's experience and how they were able to pull through. I think that, but then it didn't disappear just like
Just like
that.
that, yes.
So I just kept doing that. But God, as God may have it, somebody came into my life, my boss and mentor. He came into my life and everything changed.
Wow.
You understand? Everything changed. He was, I would just categorize him as a therapist, even though he's not certified. He tell you that this is how life is. What you're seeing now is not the true definition of life.
Yes.
There are better ways to go about this. And that's the basic thing they do. After maybe they've diagnosed you and all of that, they try to see. So that was what happened to me.
Okay.
I was open to another chapter, and honestly, since then, like I said, I don't know if it's because it wasn't that chronic, you understand, but then I just got over everything.
Wow.
Well, I will have to talk about the God factor first, because that I didn't take my life that year was this close. It was because of the God factor. One of our teachers in teenage class made us hold our ear that any day we take our life by ourselves, we are going straight to hell. So anytime the thoughts came, and that was the only thing that was running through my mind, I will still hear her. It's like a video is playing. So it kept me from committing suicide. I don't know if you get.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I did was I started standing up for myself, because like pressure coming from subordinates, seniors, I mean, people that you respect, people that you love, you can't actually say no, you understand? But I had to, let's say, revolt. I started speaking for myself. I started doing what makes me happy. I started going for places that will make me feel good. I'm not stepping on anybody's toe, you get. But things that I did that brought joy and fulfillment to me as a person was what I focused, and I flew with them. And today, I'm alive. And I'm not depressed. I'm
Your
not.
teenage
depressed.
teacher was trying to say that even if you are passing through hell here,
I'm telling
if
you.
you take your life, you will still go to hell.
I'm telling you, like,
Wow.
straight up.
I think some persons that undergo depression, sometimes they put into perspectives the expectation of their family and society, and these kind of things give them a fresh perspective of their life, making them feel less of themselves, making them feel like a failure. Just like you said, you stood up for yourself, and that is what everyone needs to do. Whoever that is telling you things that shouldn't be, whoever is telling you things that you should do, or somebody that you should become, that you are not even seeing yourself in the next few years, just calm down and know that there are times and seasons for everybody. Today might not be your time. Today might be this time. Tomorrow might be your time. And I think the social media also contribute to this pressure, don't you think? What role do you think social media plays in depression or to our mental health?
That's I just appreciate the fact that you're coming into this line. You're coming with the question to this line. It's really interesting. But then, social media play different roles, especially two, and this could be negative and positive. You understand? Because the social media space, it's should I say, I don't want to grade in percentage before they start asking where I got my research from. But then it is unrealistic. Okay, people show you what you want to see on social media, not what
As if they are real.
as a matter of fact, there are videos you see on social media. You see somebody who post video of himself and his friend, eating rice and chicken and all of that, eating. But do you know what they actually did? They just bought a plate of rice and chicken,
yes,
and they took video of. You understand?
Social media is the more you look, the less you see.
You're there. You're thinking. So it plays a negative and a positive role, and I think it's solely depending on the individual.
Yes.
So if you're on social media, try as much as possible to have control over the media. Yes, if you have that will, if you have that strength to have control over the media, it will have less impact of its negativity towards you. You understand? If you're coming into social media, settle your mind that not everything here you would have to go with. Make sure you don't go in with everything that happens there, because majority of the things that happen there are not realistic. Choose what you feed on. Especially, that's why you say news feed. Decide on what you feed on. Know the kind of people you follow. For me, I know the kind of persons I follow, where whenever I come online, whenever I see these, you don't feel oppressed. You don't, as a matter of fact, even though sometimes those videos or pictures that makes you want to feel oppressed comes up, you still know that you have that will
The
to
main thing
decide.
is just don't believe everything
Don't
you see
believe
online.
everything
And don't
you
feel
see.
under pressure to
Don't,
meet up.
don't feel under pressure.
You're not in
Alright, thank you so
competition.
much. How do you notice, or what are the signs that you can see in an individual and know that this person is going through depression?
Signs you will see an individual is beating, then you know that this is depression. Depression is setting in. Number one, loss of interest. Loss of interest. The person will lose interest in so many things. So many things. If it's a fashion person, she makes her hair, she wears good clothes, she smells nice, she doesn't care. She starts to live, to dress and appear anyhow. Then number two, isolation.
Okay.
Loneliness. I
They will
don't
withdraw
want
from
this. They will
people.
withdraw from activities. They will withdraw from gatherings that will make them associate with people. You know, you understand. Like, you just want to be alone, you yourself and you. Those are some of this. Just these two. They are just some of the signs that when you see in a person, you know that yes,
This person is
depression
really
is setting in.
depressed.
Setting in.
The other signs and symptoms.
The one, there was somebody around me one time, and this person is always sad.
Okay.
You understand? So that feeling of persistently being sad is an indication that that person might be going through something.
Okay.
And if you don't try as much as possible as you can to find out what that person is going through, you can't tell. Depression might just be creeping in. So when you see people who are always sad, they don't want, like she said,
They don't
you
want
just
to associate with people.
isolate yourself. You don't want to associate with any other person, and you're always sad. I think it's a huge sign that this person, just check on them.
Okay, if you notice those signs in people around you, how do you render a helping hand to such persons?
I ask questions.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I don't need to know people before I ask questions. I ask questions. Sometimes I go to buy something. I just go to buy something, maybe in a shop, and somebody is, selling, and I'll ask, madam, what's the challenge? Is there any issue? Sometimes I see people's posts and ask them. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is, when you see some of these signs, do well to reach out to them. Yes, reach out to them. Some of them might not want to open up. Yes, they might not want to open up. But now what I do is, I don't actually ask you to open up. I just tell you, whatever that is making you sad, just know that you can overcome it and be happy. You understand? Then they can just say, okay, let me share with this person. I don't need to tell you, what is happening now? Just say, whatever that is making you sad, whatever that is changing your mood now, just know that you can overcome. You can choose to be happy. Okay? So why are you choosing to be sad when you can choose to be happy? So
how to approach people with depression and like profile help? I would say, just adding to what Miracle already said, come with the approach of compassion. Come with the approach of interest in the person's happiness. When I know that you're asking me because you care, not because you want to spite me. When I know you're asking me from a sincere heart because you care about my interests, my feelings, it is natural. I will naturally open up to you. But when you come with condemnation, when you come with stigma, when you come with negativity,
when you tell the person snap out of it.
yes, like there's no way. I'm locking you out. You are not getting anything.
You're not
You
strong.
highest I'll
You're
pretend,
feeble.
oh, I'm fine, I'm good, nothing. There's something and it's really eating the person up. But because of the way you approach, so me, I would just say and advise you come with the approach of compassion, kindness, and the person's interest. And sometimes you can go out your way in maybe getting items, like when you
Just
look at
showing the
somebody,
person
yes,
love.
love, show them love, because some of this depression it comes from lack of love and attention. People, you know that they need this, but out of overlooking things that are necessary, that are primary, but we don't do it, and the person goes being depressed. So approach it with a compassionate
And sometimes
and a kind
when they
way.
confide in you,
Keep it to yourself.
tend not to be judgmental.
Keep it to yourself.
Understand?
Don't go and
Because there are
stand
persons that would just come. They are scared of meeting you because, and
You
this
judge
is
them and say,
to
why you
every
do it like this?
to
Why you
every
do it like
to
that?
every leader out there. To if I respect your position, to pastors, imam, and whoever you are. There are some persons who confide in you as their pastor or as their spiritual leader. At the end of the day, you're on the
They are hearing
pulpit.
it outside.
And saying this and
somebody
preach.
somebody came to me. I wonder how a Christian would just come and start
The person will
talking.
not come again.
You're not prayerful.
No, yes, you don't have
The
faith.
person will not come again.
They won't come again. So
won't
just
come
try. Don't be judgmental. Listen and just listen to them, and they will confide in you. You might just be the God they need at that point.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to believe that our listeners out there has gained a lot. And whatever you are passing through, you are not alone. You are not alone. Just open up and let help come your way. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Corpus Forum. We'll see you, same station and same time.